song, and I genuinely liked it. So, what did I do? I used Shazam. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Shazam. And I tried to look up the artist, and there was nothing. Like the app would constantly load, and no results for the song. So I got frustrated. Of course, I was just like, oh my god, the Shazam is like good for nothing. And I typed in the lyrics first to Spotify, because sometimes Spotify has like a lyric recognition. Nothing. Very similar songs with very similar lyrics popped up, but still nothing. So finally I'm like, what is this? At this point I'm frustrated, and so I type in the lyrics into YouTube, and this video pops up. It's called America's Got Talent. You know what, I'm going to read you exactly the title and you can look it up yourself. Alright. So the video title is Shocking Story Leaves America's Got Talent in Tears. A father's song for the family that left him. And in the thumbnail it says like, my son left me or something. And I click on the video, and as soon as I click on the video I'm like, what is that? Because clearly I see that old clips from America's Got Talent were reused, and then this clip pops up of this old man singing, and I'm like, this is AI generated. Very obviously, this is very obviously AI generated, but I keep watching it first, and the whole video is just a compilation of this AI generated man singing AI generated song. Even a studio version, okay, like the song wasn't even adjusted to make it sound like it's actually being sung live, which, okay, and it just filled with old clips of like Simon Cowell, you know, being moved to tears, and I'm like, oh god. And I look into the comments. No one really says anything. No one finds it weird. There were maybe 2 comments out of hundreds that said, oh, this video is created by AI. Most of the comments, nothing. Now get this. Currently, this video sits at 4.4 million views. This video that is not real, that is created by AI, can be monetized on YouTube. The creator, didn't sing the actual song. Like, all of it is fake. It's completely fake, and yet it's generating ad revenue. My question is, why does YouTube allow this? Why do we need to have AI generated videos on YouTube being monetized? And you could even argue that it's actually taking away ad revenue from real singers with real talent, right? Why does YouTube allow this? Is this what we have come to as a society? We're just going to watch fake, completely fake videos with fake songs? I can't. There's one thing about maybe generating subtitles onto videos and using AI for that. Yeah, it saves time, whatever. I can accept that. But this, seriously. And in fact, I'm going to link the video down below so you can watch it for yourself, even though I would prefer if no more people watch it, but it's not like I can personally stop that. So the thing is, AI is now everywhere. I was applying to jobs this year, like earlier this year, and now there are certain companies where, like very tiny letters, it says your CV is going to be inspected by AI or something. that's the case, some don't. But again, is this really necessary? What's the point of applying to jobs these days when all they're going to do is just to train their data models with personal data? What's the point? Why our CVs need to be adjusted with keywords so that the AI could actually say that we're a good candidate? And let me tell you that companies that actually do this, they're going to miss out on a lot of good people with great experiences, or just really capable people, but maybe they're just not that good at optimizing their CV with keywords. Don't even get me started on the next topic. AI ads. They're everywhere these days. As soon as I open social media, there is at least one ad with an AI generated person or an animal or something. And the thing is, they don't even try to hide it. It's so painfully obvious to me. And somehow you want me to buy your product or your course when you couldn't even hire real people to pose for the pictures or real animals. Very recently I saw an ad for an insurance company with AI generated dog that was just running around in the woods. How am I supposed to trust this insurance company that in case of emergency they would actually pay out the money if you can't even spend, I don't know, a few $100s on filming a real dog for your ad? Or just yesterday again, I saw an advertisement for a photo shoot. So you could pay a photographer and they would professionally photograph you, right? And I look at the ad and I'm like, that is an AI generated model. Why? And so I click onto the profile and I look through the photos. All photos of these supposed models and the poses and the lighting and these photos that are supposed to show how good the photographer is, all of them are AI generated. So obviously it is a scam, but I know that most likely people are going to fall for it. And again, why does Instagram allow these ads, obviously scams, onto their platform? Because now I see not just this person, this scammer, but I also see Instagram as less trustworthy, the same way that I kind of did with YouTube, just allowing this AI generated crap to be monetized and generate income. Yikes. One thing though that I found very recently, and I was like, there's no way this is actually real. But it was AI generated models for a clothing company. So the clothes itself, the first photo of the clothes, that didn't seem like AI generated. But then when you're shopping for clothes online, most likely you want to see how it actually looks on a person, because sometimes you could have a great product listing and then you actually see it on a model and it just doesn't look that good, right? And especially it's helpful if in the description it says that this model is like 170 something centimeters tall and she's wearing size small and all that. Like, that is very helpful to me as a consumer. Well, I was just browsing the internet recently. I was looking for some new clothes and I click on the listing and I'm like, that is not a real person. They're not actually modeling the clothes. It's because the face looked kind of odd, the poses were kind of odd, the texture of the clothing was something, when they were doing photo shoots for the companies, they had a clause in their work contract that by receiving like the payment, they also agree to their photos to be used for AI and for basically this is so dystopian. This is like a Black Mirror episode. So by actually, getting work, they would agree to these companies for them to use their face again and again and again next time without paying them, because they would just be AI generated. And in fact, I think when I was looking through the listings of the clothing company, I kind of felt the same thing, like this must have been a real model before. So basically you're signing away not only your appearance, your entire, body, you're also allowing them to use your pictures for free. These companies need to be stopped. There needs to be a law as soon as possible, because since when is it legal to not pay people for their jobs? I can't. Before we'll jump into the study, there's also quite a lot of these only friends models. I cannot actually say the name of the platform on YouTube because they censor it. You know what I mean? These models on social media that are completely AI generated, completely. I haven't seen like that many, but very occasionally they would pop up onto my feed and I'll be like, that is not a real person. So I click onto the comments and you have all these people just going like, oh, so beautiful, amazing. And they're basically paying for AI generated 18 plus content. If this is not dystopian, I don't know what is. Finally, let's jump into the actual research that was done by the University of Zurich, and I'm going to read the article very briefly so that you can fully understand what I'm talking about. The title of the article is Unethical AI Research on Reddit Under Fire. A study that used artificial intelligence generated content to participate in online discussions and test whether AI was more successful at changing people's minds than human-generated content has caused an uproar because of ethical concerns about the work. This week, it was posted like a few weeks ago, some of the unwitting research participants publicly asked the University of Zurich, where the researchers behind the experiment hold positions, to investigate and apologize. And I quote, I think people have a reasonable expectation to not be in scientific experiments without their consent, says Casey Fiesler, an expert on internet research ethics at the University of Colorado, Boulder. So, the research was conducted on the social media platform Reddit in a community or subreddit called r/ChangeMyView. Participants in this community post their opinions on a range of topics and invite others to discuss, with the goal of understanding different perspectives. Previous studies have used information from the subreddit to investigate persuasion, opinion change, and related topics. OpenAI reported earlier this year it had studied the persuasive abilities of large language models using data from r/ChangeMyView. But studies on AI and persuasion have been lab experiments. So now it was actually performed with real humans. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. They used a range of large language models to generate responses to discussions on r/ChangeMyView, in some cases tailoring the arguments to individual participants by inferring demographic features such as their existing histories. The comments from the large language models also purported to be from a range of human identities, including a male rape survivor, a trauma counselor, and a black person who disagreed with the Black Lives Matter movement. In all, researchers created 34 accounts and posted more than 1,500 times on the platform. So now, here comes the important part. In a brief summary of the research posted online, but subsequently removed, the researchers report that the AI content was significantly more persuasive than human-generated content, receiving more quote-unquote deltas awarded for a strong argument that resulted in changed beliefs per comment than other accounts. The comments personalized with inferred user information performed best in the 99th percentile of all commenters within the subreddit. It wasn't until 17th of March, after the experiment had run for 4 months, that the r/change my view moderators, volunteers who run the community, received a message from the researchers informing them of the experiment. And they said that it was shocking and unethical and, all of it. And then it goes into how it broken several Swiss laws and it shouldn't be done, and that it received a lot of backlash that they didn't actually post all of the results. So, and then there's this like final sentence that says that obviously it could cause harm and damage and the trust in science. It says people have been talking about this for years and years. Have we learned nothing? Which is also my question. Have we learned absolutely nothing from this article? Because if you think for 1 second that there aren't these bots in every single community out there, then you're delusional. And most of the backlash obviously was like, this is unethical, it shouldn't be done. Fair enough. However, I feel like we're ignoring the real problem here, and that is that exactly the same thing is happening every single day by all different kinds of people, whether they have good intentions or bad, most likely bad intentions. It's being done anyway, and there is absolutely nothing that we can do about it, and that is what I find truly scary. These bots even exist on YouTube. My comment section is filled with them. Now, YouTube is one of the platforms that has very strict rules and moderation, so a lot of these comments just fall into this like bin that I don't even see actually. But Reddit, Instagram, TikTok, they don't have that. And I already made a video previously where I talked about how Meta AI, so Facebook and Instagram, were actually implementing these AI users to chat with real life people to make them stay longer on the platform. And don't even get me started on the fact that Meta AI now trains their models using all users' personal data, your photos, your captions, everything, unless you opt out of it in the settings. And in my opinion, that should have received much bigger backlash than this study. Obviously it's unethical, but you still have thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of bots every day just plaguing the internet, the social media space. And I don't know about you, but things like this truly make me want to stay off social media. If you wanted to have a good reason to stay off social media, this might be it, because you never know if you're not actually just interacting with someone who's not even real, or not watching a video or a song of someone that is not even real. And my last note would be, right now, we can still more or less tell if a person is AI generated, the same way I could tell the models on the clothing websites were AI generated. Give it 5 years and we won't be able to tell a difference. And that I find truly scary, because once that happens, once you'll have these AI models generating content, then things like video evidence or audio evidence in court will become completely irrelevant, because the defense could just say, well, my client was framed. This could have been an AI generated video. My last question before I'll go, and it's a question that I've been asking myself for the last few years. Why is humanity so keen on destroying itself? Truly. Why? Why are we doing this? Why do we want AI to replace workers? Because the last time I checked, we need to make money to survive. AI does not. These corporations are just going to say, well, it minimizes the cost. Is that seriously where we're heading into? Just being replaced by AI that is really cheap? For the sake of what? So that these large companies could make more revenue? Is that what we truly want? Thank you so much for